What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the Gangsta Girls mixtape by Katt Williams. Basically, this project is called All Hail the King, and it came out in the late fall of 2007. The thing about this particular project is just the fact that Katt Williams, this is kind of an offhanded and unexpected project from Katt Williams as far as a pitch can happen. He's mostly like a stand-up comedian as far as that particular gun goes. He's also on Nick Cannon's Wild 'N Out back in the day. I have to say he was pretty good on that particular show. The concept behind it, he had some extra time to do a mixtape. He was originally Money Mike and some pitches like that. He was kind of affiliated with Cameron and Dipset and some of those type folks. He was originally going to put out an album called It's Pimpin' Pimpin' or something like that, but it never manifested. But I am glad that he at least dropped this Gangsta Girls mixtape, which is pretty awesome. It's very low key. I just don't see much folks kind of talking about it on YouTube and such. So I'd have to say it's a pretty hit. This is kind of a relatively hit project here. It doesn't have a ton of new stuff, but there are some good bops on here. He has a similar cadence and pitch to Lil Wayne. I'd have to say so it's circa like the primary Lil Wayne. So if you like Lil Wayne from like the C3 era pitches like that, the Birdman, 5-Star Stunna era, some of the Drought is Over days as far as that pitch can happen with Lil Wayne. There's some good concepts here. There is at least a bop on here called The Sky's the Limit, which was a hit song by Lil Wayne off of his The Drought 3 mixtape from 2007. Katt Williams refurbishes that one on this particular album, so it's some good pitches here. There's some Lil Wayne, like I was saying, there's some Lil Wayne similarities, but there are some new songs on here, which is a pretty interesting pitch. And the thing about it is Katt Williams can spit a little bit. It's a good concept here. He can actually freestyle. If you watch Wild 'N Out or some of those type pitches, you can see when he does his freestyle raps on like the battle rap that he's pretty good at it. So it's a good concept. Not really as full-blown sure if he's freestyling these particular songs on this mixtape or if he's writing his lyrics down, but either way it's some good concepts, because there is like a song on here called 1,000 Bars and Running, so it makes me question if he actually can freestyle 1,000 bars as far as the pitch goes. It's not like I'm doubting it, but it's just kind of a good concept. If he can, it's pretty dope just to be able to see that. So he's a pretty affable rapper, I'd have to say. Like I said, similar cadence to Lil Wayne, similar type pitch, just similar pitches in a more comedic rap type format. So this is going to be a relatively brief review just because there's not really singles on this particular product. There's really only about 3 new songs on here in terms of like the relative pitch. I mean, there are some new songs on here, just like a typical kind of Gangsta Girls tape. You'll get some new stuff kind of thrown in with like the mixtape freestyles and more instrumental type songs, I'd have to say. But in terms of the ones I recommend, so basically there's 23 songs on this particular mixtape, and minus like the 8 skits, or at least songs that are less than a minute that are kind of more interludes and pitches like that with more typical kind of Katt Williams humor, I would have to say that narrows it down to approximately 15 songs. Now some of these songs on here like Sex on the Beach and The Last Laugh and some of those type ones, and like Came Out of Nowhere, or less than like 2 minutes, I'd have to say are just real brief type songs. It's kind of skit type, just kind of shortened type songs, but they are typical kind of in like the mixtape format, so I'm just going to count those. So basically out of approximately 15 more or less type songs, I wound up recommending to you 7, which is a pretty good pitch. Now, out of those 7 songs, there's really only 3 of them that are relatively new. There's only really 3 of them that feel like new songs I would recommend as full-blown. And those, but I'll basically I'll talk about the 7 songs I recommend, and we'll get towards it. So basically, those 7 songs would be Not a Rapper, which is a new song, The N-Word with Lil Wayne, Wipe Me Down, 1,000 Bars and Runnin', Sky's the Limit with Lil Wayne, Sweat Your Perm Out, and Gotta Shine. So basically the 3 new songs that are just more original Katt Williams type format that are not instrumentals, at least seemingly to other instrumentals in like a typical kind of mixtape format like Lil Wayne or folks like that. I'd have to say some of those type folks that freestyle those would be possibly Not a Rapper, definitely Sweat Your Perm Out, and definitely Gotta Shine. So I'd have to say those are the 3 ones I noticed that at least had some original kind of new flavor, I'd have to say, which is a pretty awesome concept. Now, there is at least an extra song on here called Cha-Ching. There is another song on here called Cha-Ching, but unfortunately Katt Williams is not on Cha-Ching, and it just really kind of had like a clumsy kind of out and about kind of had more of like a clumsy kind of Don Cannon type production that just felt more soulful, but just didn't pull off the vibe nearly as well. It's kind of like a city hopping type one that just didn't pull out the vibe nearly as well as it needed to. But so to talk about these 3 new songs on here that do have a lot of appeal and definitely are worth downloading the mixtape for, I'd say Gotta Shine with Mike Jones and Paul Wall is a pretty nice one. It's like a nice Southern Posse track, I'd have to say. It's like a great hot box to whip type tune. I would have to say in particular just typical type fare like in the Lil Wayne type days where you get a bunch of songs to just smoke with your buds in the whip as far as that pitching goes. Just light up hella swishers, zigzags, pitches like that. I'd have to say it's like a crunchy kind of night pizzazz, I'd have to say, and this particular song kind of shreds it. Some good concepts. I like the fact that Mike Jones, Paul Wall, and Katt Williams all have good chemistry on here, and just really these three folks go in with like some lyrical barbs and like a swag rap kind of sense, I'd have to say. So it's a pretty good concept. I do appreciate that relative concept. It's good to get Mike Jones and Paul Wall on here. It's pretty good concept to see that Mike Jones still had his 2-3-1. It's a pretty dope concept that Mike Jones in late 2007, 2 years later after his heyday from 2005, still had his 2-3-1, 3-3-0, 8-0-0-4 number as far as that particular pitch can happen with it. It's a good concept kind of see that he was still representing that particular number as far as that pitch can happen. You would think by that point he would have had a phone number change, but that's pretty interesting. Probably one of the more recent times of him mentioning that phone number just within those times, but it is late 2007 Mike Jones track, and Paul Wall is on here with some good gleam as far as that pitch goes, and so is Katt Williams. Just overall good one, nice one. A real nice kind of after effect of a Lil Jon beat on here would be Sweat Your Perm Out. This is a real swag rap type one to kind of get. Katt Williams really does some Southern Pride type buzz as far as that pitch goes. It's like a superb kind of buzz single, I would have to say. It's like a vintage kind of Lil Jon bounce that this song particularly kind of has like a comedic rap type format. Katt Williams definitely adds some dope flavor to this song. This is a pretty red hot type song. So despite the fact that Lil Jon was starting to wear down a bit in late 2007, early 2008, this is still a pretty good rendition and kind of get some leftover type vibes in like a mixtape type form. And these are sorts of songs that probably needed to pop up more in like 2008 as Lil Jon kind of took a year off in 2008 and late 2007, I'd have to say, but still pretty nice one. This is definitely worth downloading the tape for these particular songs. The Mike Jones and Paul Wall song and the Sweat Your Perm Out song. Lil Scrappy is on this song, Sweat Your Perm Out, along with some extra cats on there. Pretty good pitch, kind of get that on there. Katt Williams has pretty good verse on there. Just a good concept, kind of see some of that heat. Just overall talking about nightlife ladies, just getting a taste of some of that nightlife chicas as far as that pitch can have. Just some good concepts for that. Real nice social buzz of a song, I'd have to say. Then Not a Rapper is a pretty nice one. This is kind of like a more mixtape buzz single, but this is like a pretty gnarly mixtape buzz, I'd have to say, just in particular as far as that pitch goes. This is just some real gnarly mixtape buzz noise, I'd have to say. Pretty good concept for that, just within that relative pitch. It's like a vanilla bop for like some initial evening turn up, I'd have to say, and this is a good song to drink like some Crown Royal, and just pitches like that, just kind of get some supplies and some of those type things. It's kind of one of those initial type ones. Maybe you just woke up at like 6 o'clock p.m. and pitches like that, just getting ready to get started with the night. It's just a pretty vanilla type song to kind of get here, especially in like a mixtape format. This particular mixtape track, Not a Rapper, does not really jump off the page as much as like Sweat Your Perm Out and Gotta Shine, I would say, but it does feel like a relatively original type one that does have some good buzz about it, that just kind of gets some mild or just least relative steadfast kind of excitement going for this. Just a nice one to kind of have. It's another cut that I will take just within the pitch because it does have excitement about just getting ready to get some smokage and call some folks up, some pitches like that, get some ladies to show up and just get some drink, some Crown Royal, some pitches like that, I have to say. So it's a good one. It's great for like between like when the sun's setting, 6:15 p.m. to about 8:15 before some of the more gnarled type ones kind of show up. But so yeah, this mixtape is a pretty good buzz mixtape, I'd have to say. In particular, it's just kind of an in-between type one. There is some ones on here. Katt Williams does have some of that lyrical type fare as far as that pitch kind of goes. I probably would have peppered this with like a few more original type cuts on here. I feel like this album is more anchored by the skits, just because of the fact that Katt Williams is a comedian and has his funny raps as far as that pitch kind of happens, and his funny personality. But I look after, I really think some of the best moments off this particular project would be songs like Sweat Your Perm Out and Gotta Shine. Those are some definite good moments, and Katt Williams keeps up with some of these folks that are Southern rappers that just kind of do this for a full-time gig, like Mike Jones, Paul Wall, and Lil Scrappy. So it's just a good concept. Katt Williams is kind of like a chameleon that can do these sorts of things, but these are some great songs that just have an original flavor that you just won't find anywhere else. So it's a pretty good pitch. And then Not a Rapper is a pretty nice one as well. It's just like a good buzz song. So, but talk about the 4 mixtape songs. Basically, these are mostly Lil Wayne biting type songs that I'd say, and that's not a bad thing. I do appreciate the concept of Katt Williams having a similar cadence to Lil Wayne. The N-word is off of Lil Wayne's The Card 2, the Hit 'Em Up type beat, which is a pretty nice one. Wipe Me Down is not a Lil Wayne beat, but that's basically that's a real hot trendy song from late 2007 that I definitely am glad that Katt Williams rapped over. Sky is the Limit is by Lil Wayne. Sky is the Limit is the same type of format. It has the Lil Wayne chorus on there from his Drought 3 mixtape, but Katt Williams goes in with pretty much like the similar cadence. I think some folks in certain senses would just think that Lil Wayne went in on it again. Considering that there was some Lil Wayne affiliation on here, it's just too bad that he didn't get like a new verse from Lil Wayne. That would have been pretty dope, like Kendrick Lamar off of his C4 mixtape. That would have been a pretty excellent concept to have gotten like a new Lil Wayne verse, because I think Katt Williams could have done. But for what it is, Katt Williams does pretty good on there. Sky's the limit. 1,000 Bars and Running was a mixtape hit that DJ Drama had on his 2007, which is a pretty good pitch. It's good to see that Katt Williams can rap to that, those sorts of things as far as that pitch can happens with it. So this is some good night outing type fare. A lot of this is just great hotbox the whip type tones as far as that pitch can goes. It's a good rendition of like a late 2007, early 2008 kind of Gangsta Girls type mixtape to kind of get here. Just some good formats to see that even Katt Williams can kind of keep up with some of these type things and be able to do it. It's kind of some excellent type stuff if you just are looking for like some good Swisher type music, some good drive-through, get some Burger King or Taco Bell or Popeyes type music to kind of have for some of those type things. Just some good concepts. Just pick up supplies, get some bills paid, get that cell phone bill paid, get some stamps, get some electric bill paid, some of those type things I'd have to say. This kind of happens to be a thing. This in between type moments just to generate excitement. So the thing about this particular product is just the fact that it does have some of these excitement type songs, but a lot of this is more local residential type fare. I'd say, yeah, I feel like Sweat Your Perm has like a good nightclub type tone. Sweat Your Perm has like a good nightclub type tune. Gotta Shine is like a good hot box and this local traverse type song to kind of get to some good residential type fare. And I feel like Not a Rapper is kind of like some residential local at the house type fare just for excitement and getting ready to step out. But it's basically like a more localized version of the stuff that Lil Wayne was kind of doing. Lil Wayne didn't do a ton of like local type cuts off his mixtapes as far as that pitch can happen. Most of like the Carter 2, Carter 3 type days were just a little bit more electric, kind of stepping out in like a more pizzazz type fashion. His pitches like that just because, you know, Lil Wayne was glitzy on top of the scene in his prime around that particular time. But I look after the concept, this is some good stuff. I'm not complaining about this particular concept. This is an excellent type concept. I probably just could have used more original songs just to get within that format. So it's a good concept. But to talk about some of the songs I don't recommend on here, there are kind of some weak beats on this project, which is unfortunate considering the new songs and the spark that I saw in Katt Williams and some of these new songs and these better songs like the Lil Jon song and the Paul Wall and Mike Jones song, I'd have to say, and the Not a Rapper. I feel like some of these ones just really have no business being on a mixtape like this. I feel like Uterus Bitch Niggas just had like a clumsy kind of beatboxing type beat that just was really one of the poorer ones off this particular project. Just didn't belong on there. I feel like some of these Jay-Z biting type ones like Strong Woman and My First Song really didn't match the particular mixtape either as far as that pitch kind of happened. I feel like Sex on the Beach was just kind of a poor type one. That was just kind of an amalgamation type one. I figured that particular song format would have been a little bit better, but it just didn't come off that well. Mind Right with Snoop Dogg was kind of like a woozy type one. It's kind of an in-between type song that kind of reminds me of like that badass song that he did off The Last Mail, which is like, I forget what that one's called. I think it's called like Wrong Idea or something like that, but it just didn't really have the particular vibe as far as that pitch kind of went. It was just kind of like a real softcore type one, real softcore in-between type rap song, which had a relatively eloquent type pitch towards it, but just the affability behind it, I just couldn't think of too many instances where I would really listen to this particular song. Just kind of felt, just needed a little bit more spark and edge. I feel like this sort of song, Snoop Dogg just needed like a better song, like More or something like Sexual Eruption, some of those type of songs that he was on around that particular time, or like Life of the Party. So it would have been a little bit more of like a Liddy type pitch. Snoop Dogg just needed a little something a little bit more energizing compared to like an in-between type cut that just felt a little bit too mellow and just the taste. I mean, I like mellow productions, but that one just didn't really have like the appeal behind it. Some of these minute type songs on here like Came Out of Nowhere and The Last Lap just didn't really have the production type for it. They just kind of felt like more of like dedication to write-offs that just didn't really have the same pitch at really nailing it as well as like Lil Wayne did, I'd have to say. So that particularly happens to be the concept. So me recommending basically 7 songs out of 15 off this particular mixtape, and then out of those 7 songs, 3 of them are at least original ones that are new and exclusive to Katt Williams, I'd have to say. I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape like a 5.25 out of 10. I feel like that's pretty good within that relative pitch. It's not a bad project. It's just kind of concept. It just doesn't have enough bite and fuel to really keep it going just throughout the times as far as that pitch can happen. I mean, it has some hotbox songs, some local residential type fare, like some good relative residential type gigs and pitches like that, and a little bit of nightlife on there thrown in on top of that, and definitely some good, once again, hotbox type songs and this local buddy smokish type fare, I'd have to say. But it just comes off as somewhat underhanded, I have to say. Now, obviously, if you are here for Katt Williams stand-up comedy, there are 8 skits on this particular project, so that does have some of that particular vibe. If you're just looking for some Travers type stuff to listen to and chuckle to in the car as you head to work or head out for the night, as far as that pitch gun goes, there's some stuff to get you revved as far as that pitch gun goes. It does have some good stuff on here. I didn't really listen to these particular type ones, but I imagine they're funny just because Katt Williams was usually on fire around this time when he was dropping like the Pimp Chronicles Volume 1 and 2 and some of those type pitches throughout 2006 and 2007. So it's a pretty good pitch. This is a clever project here. I'm definitely glad that this was created in pitches like that. This is a Gangsta Girl, so it has the DJ Drama affiliations, an official mixtape as far as the pitch can happen. It's real clever. Definitely probably could use another one, but the biggest sin about this particular project is just the fact that there weren't more original songs. I definitely feel like songs like Sweat Your Perm Out and Gotta Shine are just some excellent type ones, and even Not a Rapper, some pretty good mixtape type fare that showed that the original content that Katt Williams did probably could have been pretty potent. But even the mixtape, freestyle, and instrumental type stuff, Katt Williams can rap, so it's a good concept to kind of get some of these hotbox type songs. That's kind of the concept. But it's a 5.25 score. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give like a 6. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give like a 6.75, just because the more bops on here just have a lot of appeal. I'd say it's like a base. This is basically like a miniature kind of Lil Wayne dedication mixtape. I'd have to say in particular, just some great concepts kind of get here just within the affability, the same sort of vibes that you get from like Lil Wayne Dedication 2, Dedication 3, some of those type pitches. The Drought 3, Katt Williams kind of does in like a more comedic rap type format. Plus there's some bonus original format. Plus there's some bonus kind of original material type songs kind of get on here. So it's a pretty good pitch for that. In terms of the future, like Katt Williams is not really an active rapper as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. I think this may be his one and only project. He does have some comedy rap, actual. He does have like some comedy albums that are just stand-up comedy, I'd have to say. But I think this is pretty much like the only one that's like full-blown music, I'd say. It's a pretty clever concept just to get this here. I do recommend it just within the sense behind it. The new songs are worth downloading just for like a miniature kind of taste, like the Lil Wayne dedication type vibes that just have some good hotbox and overall residential nightlife that just has a lot of appeal and good buzz concepts as far as getting that.